Okay, so this is a quick little recap and catch up. I had made some videos, but I hadn't posted them up. At the moment, what we're doing is I have a new rack enclosure for new DASs. I've done processor upgrades, and I've been in the process of moving things around. I had some problems with some of the software. It wasn't as what you would call fluid. I don't know if that's just because I'm old school or because they just didn't really think about what they were doing, but you couldn't manage your hard drives, and if you put a cluster on it, you couldn't isolate it back from the cluster, and that kind of thing. So it hasn't been a enjoyable time. Plus I've been working and getting other things done, and I've been doing a lot of retro. I mean, I pulled out my old socket 939 NF4 board, got all that working and running, swapped over then for a Rogue Republic of Gamers quad core system. My i5's all done and dusted. I've made a new NAS server. And obviously I've got the servers and configs to do. So as we're moving everything around and I'm trying to work and get everything done, I'm doing like 5 things at once, so obviously I haven't had the time really to sit down and to make the videos. So this one's just a quick video, just say no, I'm still here, but what I'm trying to do is I'm waiting for some other parts to arrive for the rack so I can get the other servers in. I thought I had all the rack rails, and I have outers and not inners, and inners and not outers, so it's been quite a eventful time of just actually trying to mount the servers in there. I've put some retros in there at the moment as well, which I'm probably going to end up having to remove out of there. The reason for that is that I thought I would have enough space to put them all in, but it turns out that I'm about 2 U's or 1 U short to actually get everything in, so it's a bit of a pain in the neck that I can't have the retros just in there rather than them being stacked out of the way, out of use, out of sight and out of mind. So what I've done is I've left those servers in the rack at the moment. They're going to be coming out, and then I have to put my other servers in. So I have one server under my desk at the moment with a DAS underneath that, and I also have my 1U server sat leaning against the cupboard door, and what I want to do is obviously these are going in, and hopefully by Thursday this week the rails should arrive and they'll all fit together and I've got the right ones, etc., because I thought they would be the same across, but they're even not. So hopefully Thursday I should be finishing off the rack. I haven't had, because obviously with lockdown the kids are under my feet constantly. They have an Xbox in the room as well, so I can't really get in and out to get anything done. So it's holding things up ever so slightly. On that side of things, I've been in there, I've put some of my network switches up. I have my dumb up. And I have a managed one put on a shelf in there which is plugged in, and I have a managed one which is a lot smaller, plugged in but not wired up. So yeah, so there's a bit of a mismatch of how to do it. So the other issue I have obviously is because I use it for personal use and because I'm clearing space and trying to put everything in one space, I have to separate all the networks so that production doesn't mix with personal use. So what we're going to do is I have to split the LAN, which I can do, just to make sure that each thing is isolated, but I have to have all the management side of it. So there's kind of like 3 networks have to be put into one, but there's 4 because there's also the SAN network as well. So it's taking some time, ordering things in, more expense, more hard drives. I've just picked up some Seagate hard drives for the DAS, and I've got different controller cards for those, but obviously with FreeNAS or TrueNAS, you don't use them as RAID cards anyway. They have to be IT flashed. I've got a problem with one of the cards. It doesn't like using big drives, and I've retired my IBM system as well. That got retired about 3 weeks ago. If you were following me on some of the Facebook pages, you'd know that it got retired. It was a problem of some side, and it was the noise out of it, so It does, while it holds all the 3.5 SAS drives, it's just whether it's any good to be, production wise, as well as running costs. I mean, the thing just sits there when it's plugged in, and you can hear the fans go like a normal desktop computer on the power supplies, and it is quite an annoying noise rather than just a gentle hum. So yeah, what I've done is I have my 1U, a 2U and a 3U in here currently while I'm waiting for all the racking and rails to materialise. I picked up the rack, last weekend, I think it was, last Sunday. So I got that and almost killed myself and my back trying to get some of the big servers, the U4s, into the lower end of that one. So that wasn't a great plan at all. So yeah, so we're probably going to be taking those out as well. So I dropped an array as well. I almost cut my foot off in the process of dropping the array. I've ruined my floor, and I killed a disc. Oddly enough, it hit on one side and killed the disc at the far end, but I'll have to run through and check all the discs anyway. The chassis is a little bit bent as well, which isn't great. So I don't know what we're going to do with that, whether it stays or not, but it actually runs to the servers, run from the array. So we might have to mess with that slightly to get that all back together, or we might actually replace it. I have been looking at getting a NetApp just to run on the system, because obviously I can plug them straight into the servers. I have all the RAID cards. All my 10 gigs arrived now. I'm tempted to go and get some more network cards for it. And the other consideration now is, as it's all coming together, is the cost of running. It works out at something like about £550 a year. So that's, if you're running a system, that cost has to be offset, but obviously I'm going into production, so it's going to be offset against the customers. So my initial just running cost, annual costs, start at about £550 plus any your hardware, internet connections, and everything else. So it's becoming quite an expense to run it and set it up, even though some of the stuff I've got is being used. I'm not making huge savings on it, so it's quite an investment to put in at the start. I am a little bit worried about the software. It's changed over years, plus the way the systems work, or the way you set up your hardware has become virtualized because you have so many cores. You can do more on one system, which was obviously a good idea, although it, in practice, is not particularly fantastic. I'm having problems with some of the VMs, the hypervisors, and so it's becoming a bit of an issue with running them and how they function, and the lack of functions that quite a lot of them have. I mean, you would think that you could put a hard drive in, it might have had something on it, and you could do an install and a format. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually work like that. Proxmox won't actually see the drive or allow you to use it, so you have to go in and CLI code to wipe the disk down so that it can see it, then enter it in, and it becomes quite a chore rather than just use this disk, format disk or not format disk, there we go, job done, there we go, we can use the drive. But it's not been that simple at all, because there is actually no function to do it, which is probably in some ways probably a good idea for stopping accidental delete of file data. So so this is just literally a quick update just to say, yeah, I'm still here. I've been working, I've been getting all the hardware in, getting everything set up, mixing and matching around with some old retro systems, did a little bit of gaming here and there, cleaning up my office. I have no printer here anymore. My printer that was here is there, and the printer that was there is downstairs now on top of the rack. I'm changed over. I've got my bank monitor here next to me. This is for running the servers, but I have a display unit on my rack already now. So it's been a bit of a chore to get everything done, but as you can imagine, I had done some videos, but we had a system crash for some reason. Not entirely sure why, but when I went to render some of the videos after spending hours of editing, it decided just to crash just at the start of it and freeze up, so I couldn't actually do anything, so it was a bit of a pain. So if you'd like lucky, I may actually sit down and go for a re-render, but the whole file and the whole editing thing was completely lost because I hadn't clicked save before doing a render, because quite often I don't bother saving it. I'll just go click render, get it done, there we go, 10 minutes later everything's done, although I spend probably 3 or 4 hours doing it. It's bad work on my part, because if I'd have saved it before it done it, it may have not been all lost and it would just been a re-render, but we didn't get it back in temp files or nothing. So yeah, that one went, and there's been two other ones which I haven't uploaded anyway. So check back soon, and I'll hopefully have some videos up in the next 2 or 3 weeks as we go through the rec build and how the topology of that works, and I'm going to try and work out how to do it for personal and the production, because obviously I need 2 separate networks, which is probably not what someone's probably going to do at home. You should keep your networks entirely separate, which isn't a difficult thing to do once you do it at the root stage rather than at a later stage. I need to probably change over my main house router and do something with that as well. We have to run DNS and DCHP. They've all got to be set up because we'll be taking over, and because of my 10 gig LAN which is directly attached. So yeah, keep your eyes out. Hopefully we'll have some videos coming out soon, and I'll be able to spend some time in doing the videos for you, and hopefully you find them interesting. So if you do find this interesting, you want to follow along, click subscribe, and make sure you subscribe to the computer and networking playlist, not the channel, because I don't just do computers. I hope you enjoyed the video. Put a comment in the box below, and hopefully I'll hear from you soon.